this week it's a episode with just me and Ella. That's very bad grammar, isn't it, Ella?
That is bad grammar, but I forgive you because I'm German and I should not comment on English people's
With
or
Ella
Irish
and
people's
me,
grammar.
with Ella, yeah, it would be Ella and me because it wouldn't be Ella and I.
Yeah, because you would say this is with me. So
With
yes,
me, with
true.
Ella and me. Is
Yeah,
that okay?
perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
So,
But I'm going to shut up now because, as I said, I have no right to correct anybody's English.
well, you have every right. To be honest, anybody, when I was in Germany, they always told me that my German grammar was better than theirs. I
Perfect.
think if you speak a foreign language, you learn the grammar, don't
You
you, in
do.
a different
Absolutely.
way than if it's your mother tongue. But anyway, we're getting off topic, tangent queens that we are.
There we go.
This week we thought we'd talk about, well, Ella actually brought this up, and I think it's a great topic about liking yourself
Mm,
and whether you do like yourself. How can we start liking ourselves and the relationship between liking ourselves and our relationship and how we treat ourselves around food and movement and how we view our bodies. So I
mhm.
think it's a huge topic, isn't it, Ella?
God, it's massive. Yeah. And it does keep coming up. I mean, in most client conversations, we hit that point where, and I assume it's the same for you, we hit that point where we drill down a bit and, underneath is actually, I don't really like who I am. I don't really like what I'm doing. I don't really like me. So yeah, it's a big one for sure.
And it doesn't help living in the culture that we live in, where you're
Mm,
bombarded with images of people who are simply doing life slightly better or slightly
mm.
shinier or slightly wealthier or slightly everything than
Yeah.
us in as far as we think and we perceive it. I think it's very hard to be secure in yourself in
Yeah.
this modern world.
Yeah, for sure. Because you're
Um,
constantly comparing yourself to everybody else. And then that creates this kind of discontent, this kind of, um, oh, I could do better. I'm not good enough, and also we're being sort of suggested that it's all our fault, basically. So, if how do you like someone who's failing at everything? It's really hard to push through that and get through the noise of all of that stuff.
I mean, I think so what I've currently put on my Instagram profile is about helping women to stop apologizing for themselves.
Mm.
And I think that's basically a theme with all of my clients. Oh, I'm
Mhm,
sorry. And it's not only with my clients, it's absolutely with myself.
mhm,
And I think I mentioned this that I went to boxing class and I kept saying sorry to my
mhm.
trainer. And she was like, right, okay, next time you say sorry, you've got to give me 10 kicks on each side. I just kicked the whole session. So I just didn't stop kicking.
Yeah, yeah,
But it was great for me because it just highlighted I
yeah,
just spend my life apologizing.
yeah, yeah. I read something online recently about instead of saying I'm sorry, could you say, and then it was something like, thank you for giving me the time, or thank you for waiting for me, or instead of saying
Yes,
sorry, basically apologizing for everything that you did, to just say, well, thank you for being gracious about it, or you know what I mean? Just
exactly. Mhm.
reframing that. And I thought that was quite powerful listening to that because it's so easy, especially in the UK. I don't know if with other countries. I don't think the Germans apologize as much. And my husband in the early years has commented on that, but it's a very British thing to apologize for everything. I'm
Yeah.
really sorry.
Yeah.
Can I just squeeze past? No, you're fucking in my way,
Yeah.
right? Get out of the way. It's those kind of things where we just go over the top at making everything our own fault. And
Hmm.
and I think if we do that, we we get into our minds that we're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
We're in the wrong.
I mean, it matters as we learn as we get older. It matters so much how we speak to ourselves.
Mm,
Matters so much.
mm,
And I think if you've grown up in a certain way, or you've just got into a pattern of speaking to yourself in a certain way
mm,
for decades, it's
mm,
very hard to unlearn that. And
mm.
it's something that takes a lot of practice.
Oh
And
yeah.
you might never get rid of that first thought of, oh, I'm rubbish, I'm useless,
Mm,
but it's about having the space to then actually hold on, no, I'm
mm,
not. This is just a
mm.
thought. It's yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about yourself, Ella? Let's start there.
Well, now I feel good about myself. I can't speak for other people. I'm sure there's plenty of people who don't like me, but that's their problem,
Hey,
not mine. That's their problem.
bastards.
I know, right? They're lost. Anyway, yeah, I feel good about myself nowadays, but it's not always been like that because you go through phases, whether that is to do with upbringing, school, whatever, where you just maybe feel not quite good enough. And often that has something to do with other people, and other people put that thought into your head. It could be a partner, it could be friends, it could be teachers, it could be your parents or your wider family. And I think, whilst that is not necessarily the case for me, but I think that is the case for a lot of people where you just never quite feel like you're being accepted for who you are, or not quite good enough, or criticized too much. And then
Mhm.
it's going to be really, really difficult to like yourself, I think, and really, really difficult to um, just be authentic and be who you are without sort of trying to please everybody around you and make yourself more likable. Does that make sense?
100%. I have a friend who is amazing in the sense that she tells me she has an internal locus of evaluation. So stay with me here. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
counselor term.
Mm-hmm.
She's a counselor. And she said I have an external locus of evaluation. So I'm always thinking about what other people think about me
Mm-hmm.
and using that to determine my next step or what I should do, what I should wear, what I should blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't. She just thinks she's fantastic. She thinks she's probably the most beautiful person, the most, the best at her job. She just thinks she's got a great personality. She's very confident in herself, not in a cocky way, not in a
Mm-hmm.
way that would put you off. She's
Mm-hmm.
the most warm, engaging person that I would know
Mm-hmm.
because she is so comfortable with herself.
Mm.
And it is something that I love being around because it is
Yeah.
just magnetic, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Is it catching? Does it make you feel like, oh, if she can do that, I can do that a little bit more?
Well, yeah, being around her is nice. It's really
Mm-hmm.
nice. But then she doesn't understand why I sometimes struggle with myself. So I think she has no concept. It's almost like she doesn't quite get that.
Yeah.
And I think what you were saying, it's like if people say negative things to us, we do have this confirmation bias, don't we? We have
Mm-hmm.
this, we'll
Mm-hmm.
not remember all of the hundreds of things people have said that are positive. We'll
Yeah.
think about that one comment will
Yeah.
stick with us and sit with us.
Yeah. And how often have
Um,
you spoken to somebody where that is the case, that put them on a trajectory of hating their bodies,
yes.
eating in a way that's not helpful, moving their bodies in a punishing way? It can just be that one comment that sort of tips them over the edge into, I don't want to say hating themselves, but really kind of feeling like there's something that needs to be fixed because there's something wrong about them. But I
Do you?
love that about your friend. That's so amazing. I love the idea of that sort of external versus internal validation. And I've actually spoken to my son about this. That there's some people who are sort of very intrinsically motivated to achieve stuff just because it makes them feel good, and then there are some people that achieve because they get that external validation and that praise and the grades and whatever. So it's a similar kind of thing with kind of liking yourself, isn't it? If someone says
I
something
think
nice,
it's
you do.
very much
Mm.
linked, isn't it? I think
Mm.
I don't know if you remember any comments. Do you remember any comments that would have when you were little that maybe stuck with you? Or was that or
I'm just
what you
thinking.
said that you have only recently started to like yourself or it's been a work, it's been a
I think I've always been very critical of myself, but I can't say that is because of someone
mm,
particular saying something specific. Um, so I think that is just me being a recovering perfectionist, because I always thought that the only way I can make myself likable to other people is by being pretty much perfect and doing everything properly and not messing anything up. And you know what? Part of it, and I don't want to sort of be it. I hope this doesn't come across as sort of conceited or anything, but I've always done well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did well at school. I've passed my driving license by the skin on my teeth just first time. All of those things, everything kind of just worked out. I got my first job that I applied for. It was just like an accumulation of things that just worked out,
Hmm.
which then made me even more worried about failing at anything and becoming this person that wasn't perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's not authentic and that's not necessarily likable because I got teased at school for basically being a teacher's pet and all that. It couldn't be further from the truth, but it was that kind of thing. So those kind of comments then exacerbated how I felt about that I
And you
had
felt
to
you
be
had to
perfect.
keep going, so you
I
had to
had to
keep
keep
that
going. I
image.
couldn't
Mm.
stop. But that's not because I was liking myself. That was because I felt like I had to do that because that was the only reason people liked me, that I was doing so well and I was performing to a level that was acceptable. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And did you, I mean, was there, when did you kind of realize that that was a thing? When did you realize that that was something you needed to think about and work through?
Do you know what? Probably as recent as when I did my intuitive eating counselor training.
Wow. Okay.
It probably wasn't really on my radar because I wasn't immersed in this kind of counseling world. So yeah, it's probably reasonably recent. I wish I'd known it before because then I could have done it differently. But I've done a lot of work with clients and people that I know on and a network of therapists that I see regularly on values. And that is really eye-opening when you look at your values.
Your own
What are your
values.
values? And one of my values, very strangely, was authenticity. And looking back, I feel like there were loads of times in my life where I wasn't authentic because I was performing. And, when you're not authentic, you are by default basically saying you're not liking who you are. Does
Yeah.
that, yeah?
You're
Do
trying
you
to
know what I
be
mean?
somebody different than who
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you think who you are is not good enough.
Mm.
So I think now I'm a lot more authentic, but maybe not as likable or sort of perfection driven as I was.
Well, that's only, to me, that's only positive.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking about your friend, and that's why I asked the question, does it sort of rub off on you when you are with someone? And I love that you said, well, it's actually really nice to be with someone because she sounds like she's completely authentically herself.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, I probably wouldn't tell her if I was having a bad day
Mm,
because I don't. So there's, I think there's never a black and white, is there? And
mm,
it's lovely to be around somebody who's comfortable in their own
mm,
skin. But
mm.
it's also lovely to tell a friend who understands when you're
Yeah,
feeling really down about yourself,
yeah,
who's maybe been there and who's been in
yeah,
that position.
yeah.
But it's from the perfectionistic point of view, it's a really interesting one because our kids are kind of going through GCSE level as
Mm,
we were talking about. I've got a real, and it is my stuff, it's my baggage, but I don't want the kids pushing themselves to get frigging eights and nines and all of that.
mm,
When I have a real sticking point with it because I pushed myself to break down and got straight A's and have never been more miserable and
right.
kind of dived head first into an eating disorder through that time. So it was, for me, that was the worst time of my life that I can remember because I just wanted that validation. I didn't feel good about myself in any way.
Mm,
So I wanted that I'm smart. I'm gonna prove that I am smart.
mm,
And
mm.
then it kind of was that internal thing where I'm also gonna make my body look right in inverted
Yeah.
commas. And it was miserable. It was absolutely miserable.
Oh.
It didn't bring me any joy, not one bit. And I just,
Mm,
looking back, wish I'd just hung out with my friends and
mm.
worked, but not put that pressure on myself.
Yeah. So when did
Um,
things change? Would you say you are a lot more at peace with yourself now? And do you like yourself now? Did something change for you that kind of made it better or?
I mean, it's like you. It's very much a recent thing since I started really getting involved with intuitive eating
Mm,
and changing how I viewed movement.
mm,
So it's really very recent, and I'm very happy to talk to the listeners about this because it
mm,
isn't. we're not, neither of us are sitting here on a pedestal going, oh, we've got it all
Oh
sorted
God,
out.
no.
We don't have it
It's
sorted.
work in progress, isn't it? The whole time we're learning, we're working on ourselves as well, right?
Yeah. And I think I have a lot more compassion for myself now
Mm,
than I used to. And I'm working on liking myself.
mm-hmm,
Um, I doubt myself a lot, which is something that I'm trying to work on. But I
mm,
definitely have, and I think we were talking about this also, since the ADHD diagnosis, I'm giving myself a bit more compassion because I know that my brain does work slightly
mm-hmm,
differently
mm-hmm.
and that I've probably masked a lot of my life trying to fit into situations, but that's very common for somebody with ADHD. So I'm not going to beat myself up about that. I'm just going to try
Mm,
and move forward from here and be, but I think, I don't know, Ella, I think for me, in terms of food and movement, listening to my body has been the thing
mm-hmm.
because it's rather than pushing down what my body's trying to tell me, just going, no, I'm not listening, not listening. I now listen. And
Yeah,
that has been the biggest game changer. And I think that is liking yourself. I think to me, that's the definition of liking myself.
yeah,
I listen. And if my body's going, I'm hurting, I'm tired, I listen
yeah.
rather than going, no, you're gonna go and do that half marathon. You're gonna go up, it's,
Mm.
I kind of go, okay, I can take a step back and
Yeah.
what about you? Where is it? How is it seen as? How do you see this change, or how do you see this sort of movement away from perfectionism? Where have you seen that in terms of food in your body and all of that kind of?
Yeah, in a similar kind of way, I sort of let go of this. Um, I think as a nutritionist, when I first studied nutrition, there was a lot of, oh, this is the right way to eat and this is the wrong way to eat. There was a lot of that going on, and that was the narrative that we were being taught at university. So it was one of those things that I literally carried a soapbox with me and would evangelize to anyone who was ready to listen what they should and shouldn't be eating. I was there. I was telling you. Um, and now I realize that that is actually not very kind because me telling people, but also me sort of trying to eat a certain way that wasn't actually what my body needed, wasn't a very
Mm,
kind thing to do. And I think you hit the nail on the head there with the self-compassion and the kindness because you are kind to things and people you like,
yes.
yeah. You punish things and people you don't like. Not that I'm not saying you should go out and punish people, but you know what I mean. So it's the kind of, if you go on very restrictive diets, if you engage in very punishing exercise routines, you are not being kind. And to
Mhm.
me, that indicates that you don't really like yourself or your body or both of it. And I think that's something to really to pause over and take a moment to really consider, to
Mhm.
anyone who's listening to this, is there something that you're doing to yourself that doesn't feel good, but you're doing it because you feel you need to do that? And think about how unkind that is. And what would you say if a friend did that and punished themselves? Would you say, oh, just keep going, love? Yeah, just keep flogging yourself. And, you wouldn't, would you? You would say, well,
No.
stop. You need to look after yourself. You need to look after your physical, mental health. And by punishing yourself through either restricting food or feeling really bad about what you eat or exercising to an extent that doesn't really work for you, that's not kind. That's not what you would do
Mm-mm.
to somebody you liked.
And maybe it's about also knowing that you have intrinsic worth, like because
Mm,
you're not attaching your worth to doing well in a certain area,
yeah,
whether that's
yeah.
I used to sort of attach it to how fast I ran
Mm,
or, that kind of thing, or how well I was doing in business
mm,
and all of that. And
mm,
it's about finding that worth now if I never ran again, or
mm-hmm,
if my business I stopped tomorrow and
mm-hmm.
um that I still find hard. So
Yeah.
with running, I've definitely turned a corner. So it used to be all the half marathons, all the marathons. I had to be there. I had to be well prepared. And
Mm,
people would say, "Oh, you're fast. You're great,
mm,
brilliant." I wasn't, I didn't love it. I did it because I was looking for that validation.
Mm,
And now I kind of run a race. If I do a race, I don't do many
hmm.
because, and I do it at my own pace and I enjoy the last one I did. I really enjoyed it.
Wow.
Because I didn't think about a time. I just sort of ran and saw what would happen. I was kind
Yeah.
of just going, okay, let's see what you want to do here. Let's
Yeah.
like find
Yeah.
your rhythm and just see what happens. And it was a very different experience.
So the as was it Damali Fraser who said the journey's the destination. So it was about actually doing it rather than I have to get under a certain time or else I failed. It's very much
Mhm.
going away by the sounds of it from the all or nothing thinking, isn't it? It's the I'm doing it for the joy. I just want to see what happens. I'm not doing it for a particular goal. I'm just sort of, having fun with it. I think that you can apply that to food as well, right? You don't have to have a particular destination. If you step away from intentional weight loss, you could just see what happens. You just enjoy the food, see what you like, see what you don't like. There's no sort of perfectionism in there when you step away from the one way or the other.
And I think this is where it's hard. I think for somebody
Mm.
who has struggled with disordered eating or any kind of eating disorder in the
Mhm.
past, if you don't like yourself, kind of at your core, when
Mm.
things get tough, that will be for me, that was a coping mechanism where so it was oh, so I'll just restrict so that I can keep control over this section of my life. So,
Yeah.
and that's a belief that that kind of stays with you, and you often your brain just jumps straight back to
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
things are, when you're struggling with other things, your brain goes, hold on, we know
Mhm.
how to do this. Let's
Mhm.
just control what we're eating. We can control something in our life, which is
Yeah.
not true.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I do find it hard when things get hard not to then move away from food. Um,
Mm.
and it's something I'm very mindful of now.
Mm. But it sounds like you're aware of it. And I think that's the most important thing that you notice. This is happening. My brain wants to go straight to the shortcut. And, it's something that's a shortcut that's been paved really beautifully over years. It's like a big highway that maybe has started to grow some weeds over it. So it's less of an automatic, or let's go down this clear path. But it's still there, isn't it? It's still
Yeah.
readily available. Your brain
I
doesn't have
like
to get
that.
that.
That's a
I
great
use that metaphor. I
analogy.
use that a lot because I think it makes sense. It's like when you're trying to change something, it's like getting into the woods and there's this potential of a path, but you need to forge it. You need to get rid of all the weeds and maybe knock down a few trees and keep trotting over it so that it becomes a path that you can then go on
Yeah.
quite easily. Whereas if you always stay on the autopilot, this is the path I've always taken, that's well trodden, that's really clear, you know exactly where you're going, you don't even have to think about it, it's easy. So I
Mm.
love that as a sort of a way of looking at moving away from dieting and movement as punishment to, okay, well, it takes time and effort to forge a new path, but eventually the path will be clear enough for you to go over it just like you would on the old one.
I love that because I always use the muscle one, building a muscle. It takes
Mm.
time and effort to build a muscle. So it
Yeah,
is like every little tiny bit
yeah,
counts.
yeah,
Every time you speak to yourself in a nice way, in a positive way,
yeah,
it counts. And it's kind of, we know that the brain can change itself. So we
yeah.
know that the brain is plastic. We know we didn't used to think that, but you can absolutely. It doesn't just, you don't just stay exactly with the mindset that you had when you were in your 20s. You
Mm-hmm.
can slowly like create a new pathway, but it takes a lot of work and
Yeah, and
and
a bit of
effort.
patience. Yeah, but practice. I think you're so right. It's like building a muscle. It's like forging that path.
Consistency, you got to keep
Yes.
doing it. If you
Yeah.
stop, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like, and you
Yeah.
can have little disruptors. This is the thing. You're
Yeah.
going to get disruptors the
Yeah,
whole way
there'll be a
along your life.
storm and there'll be a log across the path. You need to clear that. Absolutely. And I think if you think about how many years has it taken for you to get into the disordered habits or the things that aren't serving you, that's taken years to do. So you can't expect to snip your fingers and just be out of it onto a new path, trajectory, whatever.
Yeah.
It does take time and patience and self-compassion, and all of that needs to be practiced because, as you said, it's a muscle that you need to keep flexing, otherwise it won't grow.
I mean, there was somebody I listened to, was it maybe, the We Can Do Hard Things
Oh,
podcast
I
with
love that.
Shannon
Yeah.
Doyle and Abby
Yeah.
Wambach and
Yeah.
sister. Um,
Sister.
yeah. Amanda.
Yeah.
So Abby was talking about, you can be kind to yourself sitting in your chair. You can go, how could I sit more comfortably? How could I
Mm,
make this chair right now feel more comfortable? Maybe I could put a cushion behind my back. Maybe I could just cross my legs, maybe, and or get myself a nice cup of tea. Maybe I could put a blanket. Little things like that. So simple and so small can
mm.
sort of be a way in.
Yes.
Just making yourself a bit more comfortable or just doing something nice for yourself and
Yeah.
just giving yourself permission to take a break when you're tired or to
Yeah.
eat a cake when you
Yeah.
fancy it. It's small steps, but it can make a huge difference, can't it?
Absolutely. Can I ask you something just to sort of go back to what you said earlier about neurodivergence and um th this whole thing about when you grow up and you kind of know something's not the same as with everybody else. How has that affected you in terms of liking yourself? How has that been a factor in everything?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question, Anna. Yeah,
I know.
it's massive. So there's a thing called RSD, which is rejection sensitivity
Mm,
disorder, which is part of ADHD.
mm,
And I think it might be part of autism
mm,
spectrum disorder as well. But I struggle with RSD
mm-hmm,
hugely. So
mm-hmm.
that's basically you just are very, very sensitive to rejection, and you imagine anybody that reacts in any way that is not, I love you, they
Yeah.
must hate you.
Mm. Yeah.
They must despise you. They must think you're, and I even find it with my own family. I'm like, they really don't like me, do they?
Mm,
They much prefer my husband. Nobody really
mm,
likes me in this family. It's like, it's ridiculous. The degree of it is
mm.
something I've battled with always. It's like if a friend doesn't message me, I'm like, oh, she doesn't like me anymore, or she doesn't, it's just
Yeah.
constant to the point that I'm having worked with therapist after therapist and coach after coach. I've been in a privileged position to be able to do that, I must say.
Mm, mm,
Um, I've had to really work on every single time I have a thought like that, go, hold on. No,
mm-hmm,
no, this is not you. This is just the
mm-hmm,
university, or this is just your thought. You're telling yourself a story, doesn't mean it's real.
mm-hmm.
And it is exhausting.
Oh, it
It's
must be.
exhausting to constantly say, maybe it's okay. Maybe there's nothing wrong. But
Mm-hmm,
that's where I'm at. So it is, at least now I know that every time I start feeling, oh, I go, hold on,
mm-hmm,
is this real or is
mm-hmm,
this just you reacting? Um,
mm-hmm.
and on my good days, I can do that. I can be rational, but on my hormonal days,
Not so much.
it still hits me. Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
I think for some people, medication can be helpful
Mm-hmm.
for ADHD, certainly. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a struggle because you don't ever feel like you fit in with people.
Mm,
You've always felt slightly different. So
mm-hmm,
you maybe try and fit in, but
mm-hmm,
you get to a point in your life where that's just too tiring and you just can't do it anymore.
mm-hmm.
Hence why so many people are getting diagnosed in their perimenopause years because
Yeah.
they literally cannot keep doing
Yeah.
the thing that they're supposed to do all the time because
Yeah.
they're too
Yeah.
absolutely bloody knackered.
Yeah. Yeah, it's this perfect storm, perimenopause, isn't it? Because you have all of that burden and all of that trauma to go through, and then you have the hormone changes, which, all of that together, and possibly if you have children in teenage years, which is another
The
potential.
joy. It's a
It's a
joy,
joy,
Ella.
isn't it? Yes,
Yes.
love
I'm
it.
so
Um,
grateful. I'm so grateful. Yeah.
But yeah, it must feel so hard to deal with all of that in one go, for
I
sure.
mean, we're gonna come to an end now soon
Mm,
because we can waffle like the best of them. But what, Ella, would we tell? So if you have a client who comes to you and says, "I don't like myself,"
Mhm.
how would you start? What would you say to this lovely client
Mm.
to help them?
I would always, always start with self-compassion and practicing that. I love, and I do share this with loads of clients actually. The Kristen Neff selfcompassion.org website has tons and tons of resources. We can pop it in the show notes if anyone's
Yes.
interested. Uh, there's little guided meditations, there's resources and extra things to read. It's brilliant. And I think whilst it might feel a little bit cringy at first, especially if you're coming from a place of, I actually hate myself, I can't possibly do this. It's, as we said, it's a muscle you're flexing, it's a path you're forging, it's practice, practice, practice. And it does work because I have heard it from clients that they have practiced that and they thought, wow, I actually don't feel as bad about myself now as I did when we started working together. And it's
Mm.
opened my eyes to the fact that, well, maybe it's not me, maybe it's society that's made me
Yeah.
believe all of this shit about myself.
Mm.
And yeah, it's really worthwhile exploring for sure. So I think that's where I would start. I'd probably do some values work. I probably also look at really sort of reframing thoughts and coming up with, well, what is actually brilliant about you? Can you write a list? I've done that with a few clients and it's really hard. Some people are stuck at sort of three things. But, we working on that and admitting to yourself, actually, I'm quite good at that.
Yeah.
Actually, this is something I like about myself. Just admitting that is a massive step. Saying it out loud is another massive step. Just things like that, very small steps. How about you? What do you do?
Well, I meditation is brilliant. There's
Mm,
certain meditation teachers who do guided meditation on liking your body. I do
mm,
tapping as well, so
yeah.
EFT is really powerful around self-love and liking
Hmm.
yourself. There's a great TED Talk with Dan Harris who does the 10%
I
Happier.
love Dan Harris so much. He's
And
great.
he's great because he talks about how not to be a jerk to yourself. So
Yeah.
and he finds it a bit cringy to start
Hmm.
with, but it's really helped him how he
Hmm.
speaks to himself, and that I
Hmm.
find transformative because he's very real
He
and
is.
very kind of look. This is really hard to get your head around. He's very authentic, very normal, very human.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll put that in the show notes as well. But that
Perfect.
I just think any little thing that helps.
Hmm.
Just go to it, take 5 minutes a day and just listen to somebody,
Yeah.
saying, leading you, guiding you in that way towards
Yeah.
self-compassion is like worth it, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
this has been lovely. I've really enjoyed chatting about this. I could have talked
Yeah.
all evening about it, but
Yeah, there's so
no.
much more to say, so maybe we need to come and revisit this because I think I wonder whether this really resonated with our listeners because I think we all go through phases and times where, liking ourselves is a bit harder than others.
Mm.
So, yeah, if
And
anyone
you're
has any
not
comments,
alone. I
you're
think
not alone,
no.
no. If
Yeah.
anyone has any comments, please get in touch
Yeah,
and share this with anyone you think might need to hear what we've had to say.
exactly. But nice to talk to you, Ella.
You
And
too, my
thank
love.
you for listening, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Take care of yourselves. Bye.